Super Bowl friend. What's his nickname from the Super Bowl, Sal Paolantonio?
Even Money.
Even Money. That was fantastic.
Thank you.
He was in. No. Did you come up with that?
Yes, he did.
I think I may have come up with it.
I think Choppy did.
What was it over?
That I don't remember.
Oh, you don't remember?
That I don't remember.
It was like even money to put out a bad story, or it was somehow like he was just as likely to put out a bad story as a good one or something.
So Sal Paolantonio, Mr. Philadelphia, was on ESPN for some NFL commentary yesterday, and this is what he said about America's team.
Well, I think everything is at stake for the Cowboys. There's no question about it. I think that's where Mike McCarthy is taking the reins in the offensive play calling. And what he's specifically trying to do is make sure that Dak Prescott is protected properly, that he knows the protection schemes. And that's one of the things that Mike McCarthy was very good at with Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay. You know, Dak Prescott, when he gets to the line of scrimmage, has to make sure he has the right protection and he has the right play call so he can get in and out of the play. And it's snap to release. Snap to release, just like Brady. It has to be 2 seconds, 2.1, 2.3 seconds. Don't hold on to the football. Don't take the hits. Don't be looking outside the hash marks, as you saw with that interception against the San Francisco 49ers. In critical situations, you got to make sure that you're protecting the football down the stretch in critical situations and in the red zone. And I think that's one of the things that McCarthy has always done when he has been in charge of the offense. And that's why you go get Brandon Cooks, right?
Brandon Cooks is
Brandon Cooks is key. Option routes in the middle of the field. Line him up in the slot. Make sure you know where he's going. They're going to be working on it during training camp. Hand signals, eye signals. Hey, if I see this, I want you to go to the hash mark. If I see that, I want you to go to the boundary. Make sure they're on the same page so that he can get the ball hands out of his quick.
All right. The first part there, everything is at stake. It's just like do we not act like this team is 5-11 every year? Like they've got 24 wins in the last 2 seasons.
Well, I would counter back with how hot is McCarthy's seat? I think a lot of people think it's very warm.
I think people think they thought Jason Garrett's seat was hot every year. I just don't think that's the case. Jerry does not operate like that.
What were we talking about with Jason Garrett, though? We were talking about somebody who's essentially a family member. Like, I mean, that had so many interwoven layers to it that I think made it a more complicated question. There were aspects to it of Jerry wanting that to be his Landry, the guy that he brought from playing days into an assistant coach, into his head coach for the next 20 years. I don't think he has that same sort of factor with Mike McCarthy. If Mike McCarthy, if the Cowboys have some massively disappointing season, or they lose to the 49ers for a third straight year in the playoffs or something like that, he won't be here anymore.
See, look, they're going to make the playoffs. We know that, barring a catastrophic injury.
Well, right now, Vegas would tell us they have to make it as a wild card.
Well, yes,
that's not a great margin for error.
It's not, but I mean, they're going to win 12 games, 11 games. Like,
okay,
you know, like that's just that's what they do. Like, I don't think we realize how much this team's overachieved in the last 10 years. In the last 10 years, only 6 teams have more wins than they do. Every single one of them has been quarterbacked by a guy going to the Hall of Fame.
Wow.
New Orleans, Breeze. Pittsburgh, Ben. Green Bay, Rodgers. New England, Brady. Kansas City, Mahomes. And then the other one is Seattle, who had Russ, who was trending that way. But even if he doesn't, they had an all-time great defense. Like, this team is not quarterbacked by that. No offense, Bobby. They're not quarterbacked by a guy. Like, Dak Prescott's not going to the Hall of Fame. You agree with that?
I mean, not at his current trajectory, but I mean, I don't think that's set in stone.
If he wins 3 titles, yes, he could go, right? If he has a Stafford.
Bobby just agreed with you. Yeah. He just did it in a Bobby way.
No, I did not agree. What I said was that he's not there yet, but this is not like a shut door, like there's nothing reasonable he can do. I don't think it's even 3 titles. If he wins 1 title and continues to make 5 more Pro Bowls in his career, he's in.
Okay, I could get down with.
If you had to bet your house that you don't have on it, you know, I'm not going to waste time. Yeah. I already know what he feels. Yeah. He's got to spin it.
So, like, they've amassed. This is an overachievement. What this team has been able to do, winning 10, 11 games a year,
especially with that coach.
Yeah, there you go.
He was a weekly Friday guest. Yeah. And if he gets canceled,
it's a joke. Troll so hard.
Like, Dax, so everything's not at stake. Dak's not losing his job. McCarthy, if they miss the playoffs, he'll lose his job, right? Or if they have like an ugly game for the offense in the playoffs, he might lose his job.
So that's a lot at stake if your head coach gets fired. That's a lot at stake.
But again, like the odds that he gets fired are, to me, very, very slim because they're not missing the playoffs. Again, unless there's some major injury. And I just don't think that Jerry's going to operate like that, where
he's probably going to have to win 2 playoff games now. We've gone from winning a game, now he's going to have to win 2. Again, it all depends how you lose too.
Yeah,
we all get that.
But and your matchups too.
But now the bar. I mean, but this is the other thing. The NFC is trash.
It is.
It's an absolute joke. So do you get Philly in the second round? If you don't get Philly in the second round, the way things look today, things are going to change. We're going to have surprises. Or San Francisco. Philly or San Francisco. But as Bobby says, if you lose to San Francisco a third straight year, McCarthy will be gone, in my opinion. But he's probably going to have to make it to the NFC Championship game. In this conference, and based upon what has happened the past 2 seasons, that is a lot at stake. Does it mean that Dak's status is at stake? Probably not. But Mike McCarthy, I mean, it's a make or break year. I do believe that.
I mean, look, has he not been? We've had these discussions the last 2 years, the way the season ends. Especially the end of 21, I feel like. Not as much last year. But the end of 21, there was definitely chatter about what's going to happen here. Because you remember, Jerry then went into Senior Bowl and was like, boy, Dan Quinn would love to be the head coach of the Cowboys. McCarthy did that unprecedented random pop-up call-in to Rich Eisen to basically address all of it. There was the fact that Jerry wouldn't speak on anybody's job status for about 4 days after that. So there's definitely been these tense moments of reflection and evaluation, and that was before McCarthy was even responsible for the offense. If he's responsible for the offense now and they fail, how much more is he going to be under the microscope for that?
I mean, look, he will be under the microscope for the offense, yes. If they go into the playoffs and they score, anywhere below 21 points in a playoff game,
yeah,
I think then that brings into question.
Yeah.
If they score 27 and lose, I don't think McCarthy's going to get run.
If they lose, 43-40, then people are going to be like, oh, we want that defensive coordinator to take over?
Right.
We're going to fire the guy who scored 40?
We'll just find somebody else's scapegoat. That's what we'll do. It's just, so it depends on how they lose.
Yeah.
It depends who they lose to. If they lose a home playoff game, I think that's much worse. If you lose a road game in Philly or in San Francisco,
yeah,
I don't think that stings nearly as much.
Oh, I don't think it matters home or road. I think if you lose to San Francisco 3 years in a row, that's going to be too bitter a pill for them to take. They'll be like, why can you not beat this other team in the conference?
I would lean towards that, but just because it's the same team for 3 years in a row.
Yeah,
I would lean towards that.